Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. You know we love to explore these emerging tech trends, and today we're going to be diving into AI stocks.
Yeah.
Specifically trying to figure out which company is a better bet, IonQ or Nvidia.
Right.
And luckily for us, we've got a fantastic article here from The Motley Fool as our guide.
Yeah.
It was published just this month, March 3rd, 2025, so it's hot off the presses.
It's very recent.
And
what makes this deep dive really interesting, I think, is that we're not just talking about, stock comparison here.
Right.
We're talking about two very different approaches to AI.
Yeah, love it.
And maybe even two different futures for how AI is going to develop.
So let's set the stage here for our listeners.
Yeah.
We've all heard the hype about AI, but just how big of a deal are we talking about here?
Well, PwC predicts that AI will be worth a staggering $15.7 trillion by 2030.
Wow.
To put that into perspective, that's more than the entire current GDP of the United States.
That's a mind-boggling number.
You do.
No wonder everyone is trying to get in on the action.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our two contenders today. IonQ, a quantum computing company whose stock has shot up 125% in the past year.
Wow.
And Nvidia, the semiconductor giant known for its AI chips, also up a respectable 53%.
Right.
Clearly, investors are excited about both of these companies, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, they are. So,
let's start with Nvidia. I think their dominance in the AI chip market is pretty much undeniable.
Yeah.
They hold an estimated 70 to 95% market share.
Wow.
Which is practically unheard of in any industry.
They're like the 800-pound gorilla in the AI chip world.
Yeah.
And the article mentions that their data center revenue just absolutely exploded, up 93% in the last quarter of 2025, reaching a whopping $35.6 billion.
Wow.
That's more than the entire revenue of some countries.
That's true.
So
that surge in revenue is directly tied to the AI boom that we're seeing.
Okay.
Data centers are the backbone of the AI revolution.
These are massive facilities packed with incredibly powerful computers that are used to train and run the complex algorithms behind all these AI applications.
Okay, so data centers are basically the gems where AI gets its muscles.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
And this article says that spending on these data centers is expected to hit $2 trillion in the next 5 years alone.
It's a huge opportunity for a company like Nvidia.
A huge opportunity.
They're providing the essential tools that everyone needs to participate in this AI gold rush.
And speaking of essential tools, they've just released their brand new Blackwell AI processor, which has already brought in a staggering $11 billion in sales just in the last quarter.
Right.
It seems like they're exceeding everyone's expectations.
Yeah, they are.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
The article also mentions this company called DeepSeek that claims that AI startups can now train models with fewer and less powerful processors. Could this be a potential threat to NVIDIA's dominance?
That's a great question.
I mean, what if everyone suddenly needs fewer of their super expensive chips?
That's a concern that a lot of investors have, and it's one worth exploring.
Okay.
DeepSeek's approach is interesting, but I think it's unlikely to dethrone NVIDIA anytime soon.
Okay.
Their success probably comes from what's known as distillation.
Distillations.
Where smaller AI models are trained by learning from larger, more powerful models.
So it's kind of like those smaller gyms that focus on specific muscle groups.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
That's great.
They can get you amazing results, but they're still relying on the knowledge and techniques that were developed in those big comprehensive training centers.
Exactly. And I think that highlights why this actually reinforces NVIDIA's position, even with these advancements.
Right.
Big tech companies still need those massive data centers and those really powerful chips from NVIDIA to create that foundation for AI development.
Got it.
They're the ones pushing the boundaries of what's possible,
right,
and everyone else is following their lead.
So instead of being a threat, this new approach actually benefits NVIDIA because it means there's going to be even more demand for their products.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
It's like they're winning no matter what.
Yeah, it seems that way.
But now let's shift gears and talk about the other contender in this AI showdown, IonQ.
Okay.
IonQ is fascinating because they're not focused on the current AI landscape. They're betting on the future.
Right.
Specifically on the potential of quantum computing to revolutionize AI.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're entering the realm of science fiction.
Sort of.
Quantum computing.
Yeah.
Isn't that still mostly theoretical?
Well,
how does that even connect to AI?
That's a good question.
I mean, are we talking about sentient robots taking over the world anytime soon?
Not quite.
Oh.
But while sentient robots might still be a ways off, the potential of quantum computing to advance AI is very real and incredibly exciting.
Okay, so you've got my attention. Break it down for me.
All right.
What is quantum computing and why should we care about it in the context of AI?
Okay, so it's all about how information is processed.
Okay.
In our everyday computers, the basic unit of information is a bit, which can be either a 0 or a 1.
Right.
But quantum computers use qubits,
Okay.
which can be a 0, a 1, or both simultaneously.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Both at the same time?
Yeah, thanks to a mind-bending concept called superposition.
Okay.
So imagine a coin spinning in the air. It's both heads and tails at the same time until it lands.
That's like saying you can be in two places at once.
Exactly. And this both-at-once capability allows quantum computers to tackle certain problems in a way that traditional computers simply can't. They can explore countless possibilities at the same time, making them incredibly powerful for tasks like drug discovery, material science, and yes, you guessed it, artificial intelligence.
So instead of just crunching numbers one at a time, quantum computers can juggle a whole bunch of possibilities at once.
That's right.
Which could really supercharge AI development.
Exactly.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is.
And IonQ is at the forefront of this quantum computing revolution, right?
They are, and they're not just tinkering in a lab. They're partnering with giants like Microsoft and Amazon to give AI researchers access to their quantum computing systems.
Okay.
It's like they're building the racetrack for the next generation of AI.
I'm starting to see why investors are so excited about IonQ.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to win the current AI race. They're building a whole new kind of race car.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
And the article mentioned that IonQ uses a unique approach with something called trapped ions for processing.
Right.
Can you explain that in a way that even I can understand?
Sure. Imagine tiny atoms suspended in a magnetic field, almost like they're floating in midair.
Okay.
These trapped ions act as the qubits, and IonQ claims that this method results in fewer errors and the potential to reach 100 plus qubits, which is a significant amount of quantum computing power.
Wow. 100 plus qubits. That sounds impressive. But to be honest, I have no idea what that actually means in terms of real-world applications.
Right.
Can you give me an example of how this quantum-powered AI could change things?
Imagine you're a doctor trying to develop a new drug for a complex disease.
Okay.
Today, that process can take years and cost billions of dollars.
Right.
But with quantum-powered AI, you could potentially simulate how different molecules interact at an atomic level, rapidly testing millions of potential drug candidates to find the most effective ones that could revolutionize medicine as we know it.
Okay, now you're talking. That's the kind of game-changing potential I can get behind.
Yeah.
But even with all this promise, the article also mentions that IonQ is still pretty small compared to Nvidia.
Right.
Their revenue in the last quarter was only $11.7 million, which is practically a rounding error for Nvidia.
That's true. IonQ is still in its early stages, and quantum computing is a long game.
Okay.
It's important to remember that they're building a completely new technology which takes time and a lot of investment.
Yeah.
And while they're showing impressive growth, with revenue up 92% in the last quarter, they're still not profitable. In fact, they posted a $202 million loss in the last quarter alone.
So it sounds like investing in IonQ is a bit like betting on a promising young athlete.
Yeah.
They have the potential to become a superstar, but there's also a chance they might not live up to the hype.
That's a good way to put it, and that's why the Motley Fool ultimately gives the nod to Nvidia as the safer bet right now.
Okay.
Nvidia has a solid track record of profitability, a strong market position, and they're already reaping the rewards of the current AI boom. Their forward price-to-earnings ratio, which is basically a measure of how much investors are willing to pay for future earnings, is a very attractive 30.
Okay.
IonQ, on the other hand, has a price-to-sales ratio of a 167, which indicates that investors are already pricing in a lot of future growth, making it a much riskier investment.
So for someone looking to invest in AI today, Nvidia seems like the more sensible choice. But for those who are willing to take on more risk and bet on the long-term potential of quantum computing, IonQ might be an interesting play.
I think that's fair to say.
But what about Nvidia itself? Could they be threatened by the rise of quantum computing? What if this whole quantum thing really does take off in the next decade or two? Could Nvidia end up being left behind?
That's where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
It's tempting to think of Nvidia and IonQ as being on opposite sides of the AI battlefield.
Right.
But what if their paths actually converge?
Okay.
What if Nvidia could actually benefit from the rise of quantum computing?
You're blowing my mind here. How could a company known for traditional computer chips benefit from a technology that could potentially make those chips obsolete?
Well, Nvidia is not just sitting back and watching the quantum revolution unfold.
Okay.
They're actively investing in research and development related to quantum computing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they're experts in chip design and manufacturing.
Right.
And those skills could be incredibly valuable in the quantum computing world.
Ah, so they could pivot and become a key player in the quantum computing hardware space.
Exactly. They could create specialized processors for quantum computers or even develop hybrid systems that combine traditional and quantum computing power.
Okay.
Imagine a future where NVIDIA's chips are powering both the classical and quantum components of AI systems. That would be a game changer.
I never thought of it that way. It's like they could have their cake and eat it too.
Uh-huh.
They could continue to dominate the current AI landscape while also positioning themselves to be leaders in the quantum computing era.
It's a very strategic move on their part.
But let's zoom out for a second. We've been talking a lot about the companies themselves, but what does all this mean for the future of AI as a whole? What are some of the broader trends that we should be paying attention to?
Well, we're living in a world where the amount of data being generated is growing exponentially.
Right.
And that's fueling the need for even more powerful AI models. Think about all the data coming from smartphones,
Right.
social media sensors, and everything else connected to the internet. It's a tidal wave of information.
And that tidal wave is going to need bigger and better boats.
Exactly. We need more powerful computers.
Right.
More efficient algorithms and potentially entirely new computing paradigms like quantum computing to handle this massive influx of data and extract meaningful insights from it.
So it's not just about faster chips or more qubits. It's about a fundamental shift in how we think about and process information.
Right. And we're also seeing incredible advancements in specific areas of AI, like natural language processing,
What?
which powers things like chatbots and virtual assistants, and computer vision, which enables computers to see and understand images and videos.
So basically, AI is becoming more powerful and more capable in every way imaginable.
Right.
It's both exciting and a little bit terrifying at the same time.
It is, and we're just at the beginning of this journey. The future of AI is full of possibilities, and it's going to touch every aspect of our lives in ways we can't even imagine yet.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the current AI landscape, the potential of quantum computing, and the companies vying for dominance in this rapidly evolving field. But before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to our listener. What are the key takeaways you want them to walk away with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the future of AI is full of potential, but also uncertainty. There are no guarantees, no crystal balls to tell us who the ultimate winners will be, but that's also what makes it so exciting.
It's like we're on the cusp of a new technological era, and we get to watch it unfold in real time. What could be more thrilling than that?
Exactly. Whether you're considering investing in companies like IonQ or Nvidia, or simply trying to understand the forces shaping our world, the key is to stay informed, be adaptable, and embrace the unknown.
That's a great message to end on. Stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring the fascinating world of AI. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. So we've got this incredible future ahead of us, with AI driving innovation in almost every industry imaginable. But let's be real. A lot of our listeners are probably thinking, okay, that's all fascinating, but what does this mean for my portfolio? Should I be rushing out to buy IonQ or Nvidia stock?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And like any investment decision, it really depends on your individual risk tolerance and investment goals.
Okay, so no easy answers there, but can you at least give us some pointers on how to navigate this complex AI investment landscape?
Well, I think it's all about balancing short-term opportunities with long-term potential.
Okay.
And in the short term, Nvidia looks like a solid bet.
Good.
They're the dominant player in the AI chip market. They're highly profitable, and they're really riding the current wave of AI adoption.
So if you're looking for a company that's likely to perform well in the next few years, Nvidia seems like a good choice.
Yeah.
But what about IonQ? Where do they fit into this picture?
IonQ is a much riskier bet because their success hinges on the future of quantum computing, which is still uncertain.
Right.
It's possible that quantum computing will revolutionize AI in the next decade or two,
Yeah.
but it's also possible that it will take much longer to achieve its full potential.
So investing in IonQ is a bit like investing in a high-growth startup, right?
Yeah.
There's a chance they can become the next Google or Amazon,
Right.
but there's also a chance they could fizzle out.
Exactly. If you're comfortable with higher risk and you have a long-term investment horizon, then IonQ might be worth considering. But remember, never invest more than you can afford to lose, especially in emerging technologies like quantum computing.
That's a good reminder for all of us. And as with any investment, it's crucial to do your research.
Hmm.
Understand the companies, the technologies involved, and the potential risks. Don't just jump in because everyone else is talking about it.
I couldn't agree more. And remember, diversification is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Instead, consider spreading your investments across different companies and sectors within the AI landscape.
So instead of trying to pick the one winner, it's smarter to build a portfolio that reflects the broader trends shaping the future of AI.
Right.
But speaking of trends, what are some of the things that we should be paying attention to in the coming years?
Well, as we discussed earlier, the amount of data being generated is exploding, and that's only going to accelerate.
Right.
This means the demand for powerful AI systems will continue to grow, creating opportunities for companies like Nvidia that provide the infrastructure for AI development.
It's like the AI world is constantly getting hungrier for data, and Nvidia is the one providing the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
But beyond just data, what about the AI itself? Are there specific areas within AI that are particularly exciting or promising right now?
Absolutely. We're seeing rapid advancements in areas like natural language processing, which is enabling us to communicate with computers in more natural and intuitive ways. Think about the rise of chatbots and virtual assistants. That's just the beginning.
And what about computer vision? That's the technology that allows computers to see and understand images, right?
Exactly. Computer vision is already transforming industries like healthcare manufacturing and transportation, and its applications are only going to expand in the coming years. We're talking about self-driving cars, robots that can perform complex tasks, and medical devices that can diagnose diseases with incredible accuracy.
It's mind-blowing to think about all the possibilities. This deep dive has been an incredible journey through the world of AI, from the current landscape dominated by companies like Nvidia to the potential future shaped by quantum computing and companies like IonQ.
Yeah, it has.
It's a truly exciting time to be following this field.
It is.
So as we wrap up this episode, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I would say this. The future of AI is full of promise, but also uncertainty. Stay informed. Be adaptable. And don't be afraid to embrace the unknown, whether you're an investor, a technologist, or simply someone who's curious about the future. The AI revolution is something we can all be a part of.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring the amazing world of AI. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.